Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment Channel as we bring to you the first episode of a new series that we call Clockin' In, where we will be doing a recap of one of the greatest shows that HBO Max or HBO has put out, which is saying something considering the litany of shows that they have had over the years. But it is called The Pit. It's a medical drama. It's a very cool concept, a very cool gimmick. And of course, when I say we to break it down, it's going to be myself. It's going to be Chase Oliver. We have talked about this, about doing this recap of the Pit and then going episode by episode and talking about it for a long time over on True Picks and True Off Season. But here we are, finally getting our chance. It's to talk about the Pit, to clock in, as you said. But
Clocking in.
first, Chase, how are you doing this fine evening?
Doing great. Glad to be on the channel to talk about TV shows. I've been on a couple of the TV show reviews. Daredevil was a couple episodes that I was on there. I had to, give my dog Kingpin LVP because he was being a simp. But now it's time, bro. Oh my god, this is my favorite. I am like anyone that asks me Chase TV show, I said just watch The Pit. Just watch The Pit, season 1 of The Pit. Like I love The Pit. Like this is like I saw. So as you guys know, Trio Heat's wrestling channel. I saw commercials of this show a bunch of times while watching AEW Dynamite, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know a while, but yeah, Dr. Carter, ER. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I'll check it out." One of those shows I just didn't get into right away. I was just kind of like, it's a it seems pretty heavy. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'm glad I waited because I binged this shit out of this for the when the first 10 episodes came out. I was hooked. I was just like, this is the greatest med drama show I've ever seen, and one of the best, man, one of the best. And oh, cannot wait to talk about season 1.
So, as Chase alluded to, the concept of the show here is that it's very similarly designed to 24. If you remember that with Jack Bauer, the way 24 worked was that there were 24 episodes in any given season, and each episode corresponded to 1 hour of a single day. Additionally, each episode was 1 hour long, so it mapped up perfectly. Now, what they've done here is they have changed that slightly. They do 15 episode seasons, but it's covering a single 12-hour shift of a day. And then we found out a lot of people were wondering in the first season, which we will get to, how are they going to, like, why is it 12 hours? Why is it 15 episodes and not 12 hours if it's a 12-hour shift? And, we found out why that was going to be.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that. But they did find a way to take a normal 12-hour shift of a ER and make it completely fascinating. And it is an incredible show created by some of the people involved with ER, Noah Wiley, as Chase said, but also some of the producers and background people on ER are also working on this. So they bring a wealth of knowledge, not just about like just medical dramas and how they should work, but actual just characters and how to develop characters, because ER is one of the most successful shows in the history of television, particularly if you focus on like medical dramas. It's one of, if probably not the most successful medical drama in history. So these are people that know what they're doing. And so it's a very fascinating show. It's a very fascinating concept. And Chase, you said how you kind of learned about the show. I learned about the show because my wife and her mom are both, well, the whole family kind of is like, they love the ER show. And when they
Oh,
found
nice.
out that Noah Wiley was going to, one, that the show was happening, and two, that Noah Wiley was going to be part of it. And it kind of was like this thing. And for those that don't watch True Picks or True Off Season, my wife and her mom are both ER nurses. So there's a lot of family history that goes into this and family knowledge that goes into this. And for me personally, one of the joys is just getting to watch it alongside either my wife or my wife and my mother-in-law, and kind of see, like, when they go, hey, yeah, this is this or this is that. I remember in this season that we're going to be recapping, Colleen would like pick up on things, medically speaking, a lot, like really quickly, and be like, this is where things could go wrong. And this show has conditioned me to
Mm-hmm.
believe that at any given point in time, something can, if something can go wrong,
It
it
will.
very much will go wrong.
Not a lot of people come into the pit and get to walk out. Like it's like very rare that you see uh the patients come in and it's like a happy ending and stuff like it really makes you realize like because like other shows it's like damn that sucks they lost that patient but it's okay next episode they're fine or whatever. The pit you gotta realize they'll lose someone and then like 15 minutes later it's like they're with another character so it's
Yeah.
like you like it really weighs on you. You're like, damn, that's what they have to experience in 12 hours in a day. Like very smart, just very smart. Because if they would have done it where it's like, oh, every other day or something like that, like, it wouldn't have the same impact. I would say, like how the show has, where it's just like, oh my god, it's just one shift that you have to deal
Yeah.
with it,
Yeah.
deal with this. Like, couldn't imagine. Like oh shit, I had to tell family to go kill their dad because he was in pain and now it's like oh better go sew up this person's leg like what.
Yeah, it really is, and luckily for my wife, who is one of the happiest, like most positive, tries to find the light and everything, kind of persons. The hospital that she works at is not like a super trauma hospital, so like it's not as jam packed and
Yeah, they,
action
they
packed
just
as
they
like
just see
it,
me if I have a
but
tummy ache and then they're like here's some Pepto-Bismol you
I
idiot
mean,
like
it's a few steps above that, but it's not
uh,
like as crazy as some of the things that they deal with there. Like if you and this is Chicago, of course. So like if you get a gunshot wound or something like that, you're not going to my wife's hospital. You're going to a full
you're
trauma
going you're,
trauma.
you're going to the shy you're going to the shy.
Yeah, but but let's get into it. Let's so what I had Chase do was I had Chase send me his rankings of top 5 characters and top 5 moments, and I have my own list, and we're gonna compare and contrast and talk about things that way. But first and foremost, because we aren't we did a top 5 characters right each, and obviously we're not going to get to everybody. I kind of wanted to just do a really quick breakdown of our cast ensemble. And so like there's a lot of people that work in the pit, and there's a lot of people that make the show what it is. And everything starts with the guy in the top left, Dr. Michael Rabinovich, who we're going to get into. We'll talk about, but like for the names that we aren't going to talk about, I just kind of wanted to highlight a couple of them. We have Dr. Not Collins, Dr. Langdon. And every time I see him, I keep wanting to say in my head Robert Langdon because of Da Vinci Code, but no, that's not his first name. We have Javadi, Dr. Javadi. We have Dr. Cassie McKay. We got Dr. Mel King and Dr. Samira Mohan. Those are some of the big names that are kind of influential throughout the course of the season, because like they're all, with the exception of Mohan and Langdon, a lot of these doctors are new doctors, or they're about to be new doctors in the case of Wit, because like this is not just a ICU/ER situation. It's also a teaching hospital. It's also a training hospital. So these are doctors that are doing their residency in the ER, in emergency medicine, here at the Pitt. And so a lot of them there are learning. And so because of that, that's why the 2 at the top are the big ones, because you got Dr. Robbie and Dr. Collins, who are the attendings. And what that means is basically like, if one of these guys or gals, these training doctors, are meeting with a patient and they're learning something about them or figuring out what's wrong, then they would then present, what the terms present, the case to either Collins or to Robbie, and get their opinion of whether or not they're headed in the right direction of what this person's issue may be. Now, sometimes very obvious what that person's issue is, but other times that's the point of why doctors are important. It's to be able to pick up on a lot of those things. And because these are much more experienced doctors, and even Langdon to a degree is a very experienced doctor, they're going to be able to pick up on things that our residents are not going to be learning. And then at the bottom right, representing all of our nurses, is charge nurse Dana, who we are also going to get into, because you and I both had her on the top 5 list of characters. So the reason why I wanted to throw this up also was, is there anybody that like you didn't get to with your top 5 that you want to give like an honorable mention to?
Yeah, Dr. Mel Keen. I didn't put her in my top. She was really close. Like she was really close of itching into my top five. I really
Yeah.
like her character. I like that. Like, like you feel like there's something deeper with her character, but no, she's just an odd human being. I love that
Mhm.
she's so devoted to her sister and stuff. Because like for the longest time, I was thinking, all right, what's the plot twist with this character? Is it that she doesn't have a sister and she really is the weird one and stuff, and her sister's normal? And stuff. But no, it turns out her sister is, likes watching the Elf movie a bunch of times, and Dr. Keene has to watch it a bunch of times with her and stuff, and has to make sure everything's good. But she was a good character. She was kind of like a nice little not comic relief. Like she wasn't funny, but it was just kind of like if you needed a light moment, Dr. Keene was kind of there for like the light moments. Like she wasn't there for like anything else, but just being a nice light character for the show. Would have some funny moments, would have some good quirky one-liners in there. So I almost put her in my top five. It was just like I was just like, I can't really put her
I
there.
would agree with you. She actually is my honorable mention as
Yeah.
well. I think she got a really cool arc throughout the course of this season, and she didn't really get like super specific storylines. In a sense, she was kind of background to a lot of different people's things, but the one storyline that she did really get to shine in, that's my honorable mention for top moments. So when we get to there, I'll be bringing back Dr. Mel King. Let's see. Let's go to our list of top five characters. Okay, so 5A means anything with A's, that's
Mhm.
you, and anything with B, that's me. So we will start off with your 5A, or your fifth, your you will say
Yeah.
your fifth rounder, which is Dr. Collins.
Yeah.
So you tell us about Dr. Collins.
Look, Dr. Collins, Robbie's former love interest, I guess you could say. Like there was something between these two. They definitely had a little bit of a spark, a little bit of a kindle in there. She has a really sad scene where she's debating, like she's like in a trimester phase or something.
Mhm.
Like something's going on with her, and then we find out that it's like her baby did not come through, or like it didn't reach like the next trimester. I'm not good with pregnancies or anything like that. I just thought it was a really strong character. Really, really like she was going through a lot of BS, but she was always there for like a lot of the major stuff in the pit, minus the final act. Like they completely writ her off after that. Like Dr. Robbie's just like, all right, like just go home, turn off the phone. We're
Yeah.
good. We're good. And then that was just like, dang. And she's not in season two. They explained where she went in season two and stuff. And then like Dr. Robbie was kind of sad. This is the one who got away. I felt there could have been more with Dr. Heather Collins. Like I felt like we could have gone deeper into her and Robbie's past relationship, or there could have been a little bit more with her. Besides like her trying to figure out how to cancel out an Amazon order because she ordered a stroller and then she was like, I don't
Oh,
need this no more and stuff. But yeah, no, she was a really good character. She was one of my favorite characters. She just gets bumped down for me because she wasn't part of Pit Fest. Like if she was part of the Pit
sure.
Fest
I can
scene,
see that. I can
it's
see.
kind of like okay, like you get bumped up a little bit more because you're there, but they kind of writ her off for that, and then she was written off the show pretty much. But
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
good character for when she's there. Very good presence. Like her a lot.
I think what she did very well, and we get a character similar to that in season two, but slightly different, is that she kind of is the counterweight to Robbie. She is the person who is going to challenge him and
Mm-hmm.
push back, so that he constantly has to. Because a lot of times, if for doctors, particularly doctors, you get this kind of mentality of I'm the best and I know what I'm doing all the time. And we have a character who kind of embodies that, even though she has not earned it yet, in Dr. Santos. But with Robbie, he does try to stay humble. And you got to remember, these are people who have worked really hard and usually were top of the class, this, that, and the third. And granted, what do you say about somebody who graduated medical school with all C's? They're still a doctor, right? But at the same time, these people who have a very high drive to succeed. And so because of that, you can develop an ego. And Robbie does try to tamp down on that, but then other times he, flexes his muscle and he's like, I'm the shit. Like I know what I'm talking about and I have the experience. So sometimes you need somebody who's going to be able to push back and be like, hey, yes, it could be this particular illness. However, it could also be this. And to kind of just provide that counterpoint. And she does a really, really great job of that. And I do kind of agree. I agree with you that she gets bumped because of Pitt Fest, which ironically is, I think, why I don't have her on this list at all.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
we're gonna do my fifth person, who also is your fourth person, and that is Dr. Jack Abbott.
Dude, one of the goats, bro.
Bro, this dude. This dude is one of the best characters. He starts off the season and he ends the season. He's the bookend. He is the bookend of the season, where he is so in essence, he is the chief attending for the shift prior, the 12 hours prior to Robbie being there. Our first episode starts with Robbie arriving for the beginning of his shift, and he sees Abbott on the roof. And at the time, it looks like Abbott's going to jump, or at least he's contemplating, like, what is the value of life? And really, his arc and sort of the arc of the season is the question, why do we keep doing this? What is it that drives us, that brings us in, day out, every 12 hours? Like, my wife works 3 12s, 36 hours for 3 times a week. And then what is it that requires us, that pulls us in? And for Abbott, it's just the idea that, as he says at the end of the season, some of us just have this in our DNA. And if there's anybody that has this in their DNA, it's Dr. Jack Abbott, because this is a guy who is driven, and you can tell he's seen some shit in his life, whether it's in the form of like military overseas deployment stuff, whether it is here in the pit and in the ER, like ICU level or trauma level of stuff. He has seen a bit of everything, and he kind of is, if Robbie is in a weird way the mother. So Robbie is the father if Collins is the mother. But if Robbie is the mother, then Abbott is the father within that personal dynamic. Because Abbott's so no nonsense. He does not give a shit. He's just like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how we do it. People's lives are on the line. What were your thoughts about Dr. Jack Abbott?
Just a strong written character. Like, you just think like this guy, like, we're only going to see him for this start of the season. He's just kind of like setting the tone for like, what these doctors go through on a daily basis. Then he comes into the Pitt Fest thing, and he's just like, holy shit, what am I walking into? Like, he's just like, what the heck? Okay, fine. And then he's like leading the charge, and he was kind of like because like a lot of the characters, like, keep in mind, like they've been being tested we've been seeing their characters being tested all day. Like, they've dealt with some bullshit before Pitt Fest. Now this crazy things happening and going on. And then Dr. Jack Abbott comes in, and he's like there to calm everyone down. Like, he's like the calming presence, like, through all the chaos that is Pitt Fest. And we're seeing side characters die. We're seeing families cry. It's like very emotional scenes. Dr. Jack Abbott, he's like pumping blood. He's like, yeah, I'm Oneg, buddy. Let's go. And then like figuring out this, like, we learn more about his character, that this guy probably is ex-military and has done stuff in the war or something. Like, that's why he's so calm under these circumstances. Like, when other doctors would be like shaking, and we've seen it with one of the doctors, he kind of broke down in a nursery home, but he's still the greatest character of all time. It doesn't matter. But Dr. Jack Abbott, just so strong in the last arc. Like when you see him in the beginning of the show, you're like, man, this guy kind of depressing, man. Like, he was thinking about jumping, and then he comes in, and then he not only is like the calming presence of like the whole like chaos that's going on in the pit after Pitt Fest, but he also is the one that, it's a full circle moment. Goes up to Dr. Robbie at the end of the season and, make sure that he doesn't jump and stuff. So, yeah, I'm very excited for tonight's episode. This dude's coming back, and it's going to be great. I can't.
Yeah,
season's going to pick up now because Dr. Jack Abbott's here, man.
He's been away for a while. But he is going to be back, and that's awesome to see. Yeah, there's just he's so fun. Like I'm looking forward to having him back. But let's turn to who I have as my fourth highest ranking person, and that is Dr. Trinity Santos. Dr. Santos is an acquired taste, to say
Yeah.
the least. She is who I was alluding to when I said, these doctors sometimes, whether or not they've earned it or deserve it yet, they sometimes think they know everything and know what they're doing. And Santos really is the embodiment of that. But the thing is, that itself would be fine if you also weren't very abrasive to your coworkers. And Santos does not have the people skills to be doing the things that she does. And it's a little unfortunate because you can see where if she had started off on a different foot or just different way of introducing herself, that a lot of these characters would like her more or that they'd be more friendly to her. And then we see in season 2 that a lot of them have kind of moved past that initial what is with this lady kind of thing. But in this first season, because as we have to remember, we are watching this unless, you know, like Chase, you're watching all of these episodes in one shot. We were watching this as a week to week thing. So for a lot of people, I remember seeing this on like the Pitt subreddits and things like that. They'd be like, well, why can't somebody just get over it that Santos is like this, or why can't Santos learn and change, right? Like both sides of the coin or both sides of the
Yeah.
argument. But like we are seeing this in a week to week basis, and a week of our lives passes, and then we're like, why can't Santos change, or why can't people? For those people, it was just 5 minutes ago. So
Yeah.
so it's like yeah, she's gonna still be the same way, and she gets some really cool arcs, some really cool storylines, um, some really questionable decision making. Like when
Yeah.
she there's a moment where they are treating a girl or they're treating a father because of an accident that he had, but because of just different things that she picks up on, she believes that he is abusing his daughter. And what Santos does is she like while he can't speak because of all the machines that are in him, she basically threatens him. Not basically, she threatens him to say that if he does anything to his daughter, she's going to get him arrested in this, that, and third. Now, there's been a lot of debate about whether or not this guy actually was abusing his daughter. And the problem is, and this is intentional, I think, by the writers, is that the evidence goes either way. Like
Yeah.
it could be that he was, or it could be just pure happenstance, and this girl got injured through different means. But Santos, we don't really know yet exactly why. She has a very strong pull towards anyone that seems to be suffering from abuse, particularly children and particularly young girls. So we don't know yet. Like maybe she had experienced that in her earlier life, or she has close friends or family that did. We don't know. But we do know that it does cause her to act. And what I do like about it is that it gives me something to invest in. Like you have to have characters have to have flaws, but they also have to have personalities. And her personality is this drive to help, but it also is this drive. Like now the question is, if she did suffer something like this in her life, is this why she has that abrasive personality? Is this why she pushes people away? Like she nicknames Whitaker Huckleberry. She nicknames Javadi Crash because Javadi fainted. Like all those sorts of things. Is that a way to protect herself? Because it's hard for her to be able to be able to be close with people. I know you didn't put Santos on your list, but is there anything about Santos that you liked, disliked, anything like that?
Yeah, she was kind of close to making my list. I just felt like she got way too much. Like I felt like there was some episodes, and it wasn't because of her character. I was just like, okay, can we just drop this plot point? Like, why are we still on this? Like I felt like what hurt her for me as a viewer was not even like her character. It was just more of like it felt like the writers were like, okay, we need to fill up gaps before we get to this plot point. Ah, let's bring you back to that Santa. Like we were on what 2 episodes of her like trying to figure out about if the father, or 3 episodes of the father abusing the wife or whatever, or the daughter. It was like, dude, this could have been solved in 1 or 2 episodes. Like why do we? It's like she just her arcs sometimes felt like they were filler, and then like a
That's fair.
lot of times it wasn't like there was a good payoff to this filler. It was like we didn't really get to learn too much more about Dr. Santos. It was just like, oh, she is who she is. Like
That's true.
that's just how it was. Like, and that's not to a fault to her own. Like the actor did a great job. I like that there's a doctor that's a little bit more headstrong and kind of abrasive, and is the type of personality. It wasn't even her personality. It was just that I just felt watching season one, like a lot of it was just like, especially like filler portions of the show. It was like, all right, we know it's filler because here's the Dr. Santos part where she's still doing the blood tests on this one daughter. I was like, move on, just move on from this. Like, bring a new patient in for her to work on or something. Let's get some development here, motherfuckers. Like there was just like it just felt like they were stuck in neutral with a lot of her scenes. So that's why I was just like, nah, I can't really like. She does have one of my favorite moments of the show for sure, but like I was just like I couldn't put her in my top five because her character just felt stuck in neutral for like 2 or 3 episodes because she was stuck up with one patient, and then all the other doctors are like, and then she's like, and then she's still with that one patient. I'm like, you've been with that patient for 2 or 3 hours. Move on. Like, what are we doing?
And for me, I needed to have her on there because while we as a audience are sort of against, we are angry or we are against the illnesses, the diseases, the injuries, right? Because we want these people to be treated and we want these people to make it out of the pit okay. At the same time, we need a character to hate. We need a doctor to hate. We need somebody to dislike and be like, okay, because you need to have those inter-office, just kind of the person that you grade against. And Santos fits that bill perfectly. So like I have to give credit where it's due. And of course, she is going to be the person that sets up one of the best interactions that we're going to see this whole season. But before we get into that, we got to get into our top three. And starting us off at number 3, you and I both agreed on this one. It is none other than the OTC in training, as I like to call him, Big Wit. Dennis Whitaker, who is I think he's the only person who, technically speaking, in the first season is not a doctor. Like he is actually a 4th-year medical student. And so he's finishing up, and in season 2, he is now a 1st-year resident. That's why like they had that scene. It's like, oh, did you get your doctor name tag in the 2nd season? But Whitaker is, bro, this dude is just
lovable character.
He's amazing. He's amazing. Like OTC in training, Robbie's protege. I don't know. Like he might legitimately be. Like, if it wasn't for Robbie, he might be my favorite character.
Yeah, he has a great bit where his like scrubs keep getting dirty, so he has to get new ones like every hour and stuff. It's just like he's one of the more relatable characters on the show because like on TV shows, especially when they do stuff that is like job related, they make it where it feels like the job is perfect and like none of this stuff happens. But Whitaker is like such a great flaw. Like he's such a great flaw. Like he shows like no way this fucker should be a doctor, but he is, and he's a good one at it. Like he's a good doctor. He just makes stupid mistakes. Like he just gets stuff thrown on him and all this other stuff, and he has to get scrubs changed, and that's part of the job sometimes. Like you can be perfect at your job, but sometimes you make silly and goofy mistakes. And I think that like Whitaker, he's one of the more relatable characters on the show because of it, because of the fact that he's not a perfect person. Like like he doesn't get like the writers are not trying to make him perfect. Like he's a fish out of water. He's some dude that lived on the farm, and then like he had to. Now he's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he's like trying his best to help everyone and do everything for these people and stuff. So yeah, no, like he's one of the best characters on the show, to be honest.
He provides like this sort of. It is interesting because he's not like a large person or anything like that, but however, he does provide like this concept of the gentle giant, and like he is like just this so. As much as because that's the other thing that the show tells us right off the bat, it's that for all of these residents, or in his case, medical students that are there, this is their first day in rotation. This is like everything is brand new for them for how the pit's supposed to work and all these sorts of things. They're meeting Robbie for the first time. They're meeting Collins for the first time. They're meeting all of these people that work there for the first time. And so seeing those interactions, like Whitaker, part of the comedy of him getting stuff on his scrubs is he really doesn't know how to work the machine. of how to get new scrubs.
Yeah.
And so it's like eventually it leads to a humorous moment, but it is part of that kind of reinforcing for the audience that everything is new to them. The same way that it's new to us in the sense of who these people are and who these characters are, it's all new to them. And so for Huckleberry here, learning that Santos is going to be abrasive, Javadi is going to be nervous all the time, Samira Mohan, Dr. Mohan is going to be slow, hence the why she gets the nickname of Slow Mo. But like learning all of those things and him being able to kind of pivot between different people and being able to help them out in different ways, it's super important. And you can see in his for a lot of them, like Santos is kind of constantly chasing accomplishments in the sense of she wants to do difficult procedures, difficult cases, difficult treatments, and things like that. Wit, it just comes across like he just wants to help people. Like it really doesn't, like he doesn't care if he's doing crazy cool procedures or anything like that, as long as the person he's treating gets better. But that leads us to the number 2 on our list, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about this individual. 30 years of nursing experience. Nurse Dana Evans. She is the heartbeat of the ER in the sense that she is the charge nurse. So for those who don't know, and Colleen is from time to time on her shifts, she'll be the charge nurse. The charge nurse is basically like the head nurse for the duration of the shift. So they are keeping, like if Robbie is keeping all the doctors organized and sending them to different places and forcing them to take, patients or whatever the case is, that is the job of the charge nurse. And if the nurses, for whatever reason, have any kind of pushback or catch any flack or whatever the case may be, or have any questions from what a doctor is saying, and the doctor leaves or whatever the case is, they find the charge nurse, and the charge nurse helps them figure out this is what the doctor meant, or this is how you got to do it, so on and so forth. And Dana is kind of like, really is like that central nervous system heartbeat kind of pulse of the ER. If Robbie and Collins are the brains, she is the heart, and she really does make sure that everything works properly. And she gets one of the more interesting arcs where she's like slowly trying to have to deal with the backup and the backflow of people in the waiting room, to the point that this one dude, Doug Driscoll, gets really upset that he cannot be seen. And so he says, I'm just going to leave. And Langdon says, here, you got to sign this paper that you're, signing yourself out, that you are leaving under your own recognizance. The idea being that it's a liability thing. Like if a hospital lets somebody leave and they didn't, from a legal standpoint, it's proved that the hospital didn't properly explain that maybe you shouldn't leave, then if anything happens to that person, there's an argument at least for a wrongful death suit. So that's why they have you sign those papers. So Driscoll has to sign the papers and return them. And the way he decides to do that is he, like, I don't know why he does that, like why he chooses this particular area to go to, but he basically sneaks around the back where the ambulances are coming in. Dana's there smoking a cigarette, and he just cold clocks the shit out of her, and then just like signs the paperwork and throws it at her feet. And he goes, "Yeah, I'll take my chances. You've told me I should. I'm leaving under my own recognizance." And that really does change Dana for the rest of the shift. And interestingly, it's before Pitt Fest starts, so her entire personality kind of shifts in the sense of now she's being more defensive. It's harder for her to be the charge nurse. It's harder for her to be that heart and be that heartbeat, because part of pumping out the blood is not just the literal sense of it, but also the figurative sense of it, of being that sort of shoulder to cry on, but providing that tough love. So it really does affect her. And when we leave her at the end of season 1, she's contemplating hanging it up. Because 30 years, you've done 30 years.
Just quitting, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you see her take the pictures, you think, oh, damn, that sucks. Like, one of the best characters is going to leave the show. I mean, I guess, like, they have to make room for someone else or whatever. But, yeah, no, I was really concerned that she wasn't going to be on season 2. And then when she appears, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I didn't watch any promotional material for season 2. I just kind of went to season 2, raw dogged it, like, saying, like, all I know is that Robbie was riding a motorcycle without a helmet. Like that's all I saw was that scene. I didn't see anything else. So like when I saw her, I was like, oh, thank God! Like she didn't leave. Like I didn't read any of the extra stuff. I didn't watch any pre-show interviews and stuff. But yeah, no, but one of the best characters. Just like has everything on lock. Make sure everything's going good in the pit. Tough, strong. Like that's just like what you want. Like that's what I look for when I'm working for a boss that's a woman. You gotta be tough and strong. Like I'm sorry, you can't. You can be friendly with me, that's fine. But if you ain't tough with me, I don't know. I can't. Like I need women. Like that's why like such a good character. And when she got punched, like that shit was insane. But it's also like Noah Wiley talked about this in an interview. It's actually a legit real problem that goes
Yeah,
on in
yeah,
this
yeah,
world of medical and stuff. And like I really did not know this that like and it makes sense, like hey, they can't really do anything. Like, they're the least protected people, which is sad. And they do a lot of things to help us as human beings keep living a good life. And it's just like, damn, this is how they get treated. And it was kind of like in a good intentional way to kind of weaken her character because they needed it where it was just like because if she was like on her game for Pit Fest, they would have been fine and stuff. But like the fact that she was kind of like mentally wounded during Pit Fest, it made that whole arc a little bit better. It's kind of like in like Dragon Ball Z, like like they made sure Goku had like a heart disease before the Android Saga, so we can get to the point. Like we can't have Goku at full strength. All right, Goku gonna destroy an Android 19 and 20, and we ain't even gonna see Cell. Like fuck Cell, that guy ain't even existing. But because Goku had the heart disease, like that was pretty much like what they did with Dana. They said, hey, we gotta weaken her a little bit. Her mental's not gonna be as sharp. She's not gonna be as tough, and everything's like breaking down around her too. Like she gets punched in the face. Then afterwards, kind of like one of the doctors she babies in Langdon. Turns
mhm,
out, like, he's stealing medication from Louis, and then she has to deal with that. Then there's other things going on. It's just like, dude, this woman can't catch a break. Like, these last 3 hours for this woman are like the worst thing ever. And then, oh, by the way, a mass shooting just happened, and now everyone's gonna come to your house. Like, where's the moment for her to like just catch her breath to like, and she's still probably right. And, they've given her chances. Like, yo, go home, and she's tough. Like she wants to show like, nah, this is what we're here for and stuff. And it's like, man, dude, like we sent Dr. Heather Collins home because she was having a rough day, but freaking Nurse Evans over here is getting clocked and she's still working and stuff. And it's just, yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's like you respect our character's drive and determination, but you also feel bad because like literally like the last like 6 hours of her life was just hell. And then like, like it was just one of the toughest things that she had to deal with as like everything that she leans on as being a tough person, it's all falling apart. Dr. Robbie's falling apart in the last few episodes. Dr. Langdon, let her down as a human being, and that's like someone that she like treats as a son. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like her work son right there. She's the work mom. Langdon's her work son, like and now this, and then with the new doctor, she has to help them and do all this. It's like, oh, like just rough for her.
And one of the other things I thought was kind of cool was that like in the season, like they tell us that she was born there at that hospital. She volunteered there in high school, and then she rose through the ranks and to become one of these important charge nurses. So it's like that really is like family to her. It's home to her. And the idea that somebody would punch her, right? Like that changes for her the whole dynamic of what this place means and what it represents. And then on top of that, you've got like as you said, everything that happens with Langdon. Like it's so hard for her to be able to go through all those things. And so like when she's saying like I think I'm done, you're like, oh shit, like she really may be done. But if there's one person that's left to talk about,
Come on now.
it's the tribal chief.
Come on.
It's the tribal chief.
Best character on the show. It's not even close. It's like
The tribal chief.
it's not even close. Like if Dana's two, the votes for Dr. Rabinovich, it'd be like 1,000 times more for number one. Like there's a wide gap for one and two. Like Dana here, Dr. Roby up here, bro. Like he is just, oh my god, such a badass from the start. Like you could just tell, like it's like Noah Wiley. He's been doing the like Dr. Carter. Like it felt like Dr. Carter in that one episode of ER when he came back after so long, and then like he just like was just like the boss there and stuff, and like John Stamos's character was trying to like keep up with him. It's like, bro, John Stamos, go back to Full House, dog. You don't belong in the ER. Get out of here, dog. But man, just like you just feel so calm when Dr. Robbie's in the thing, and just like his unique takes, like where he's just like doing all this MacGyver shit to like solve issues, and it ends up working. And it's just like, dude, this guy's so badass. Like, and the character, it's like just great layers to this character. Like Dr. Robbie is probably like what most males are, at their job, really good at it, but somehow, some way, they're just depressed. They're just so depressed where they're at. This is fact. Like, there's a lot of males like that are like Dr. Robbie, where like they are looked up at by their peers. People love them. They have nothing but good things to say about them. But deep down inside, these motherfuckers are depressed. They're the worst human beings to be around, to be honest. But at work, they're the most reliable, and and that's the person that they love. Like the colleagues all look up to Dr. Robbie and stuff. They're all like, oh, it's Dr. Robbie. And there's probably a guy like that. Like, look, I relate to Dr. Robbie in some degree, where it's like at my retail job, everyone goes to me for like anything. They don't go to the manager sometimes. They'll just go like Chase, 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 and I'm like, we got managers, right? You don't have to ask me, but they come to me because they trusted me and stuff. And I have some depression, but not like this guy. This guy's depression is
Some
way,
depression.
yeah, not this guy's depression's way worse. Like it's like, oh my god. But like, I relate to Dr. Robbie to so many degrees of just being like, you're one of the good workers at your job, but you're a little bit, you act like you're all together, but really you're not together. But you have to be all together when you're on the clock. And Dr. Roby always has to be all together. And I loved when we get to the moment where he finally breaks down and just
Yeah.
everything. It's just like, because like everything finally gets to him. Like at one point, Dr. Roby, he was like a bright-eyed, happy Dr. Whitaker. Like he that's why I think he
Yeah.
loves Whitaker. Like he views Whitaker and himself. Like he goes, I was once that kid, and then finally COVID, it broke me when the pandemic happened and all that other stuff. That's why we need a pre-pit. That's why we need like prequel seasons. Yeah, like just look, AI, it's bad, but maybe if we can like get a younger face on Dr. Rabinovich, make it where the beard is lighter or something. Maybe he shaves for one
Would that
season.
be? Would that be digging the pit?
Yeah, digging the pit, starting at the pit. We need something where it's like we get to learn more about Dr. Robbie's past traumas. But yeah, no, he's just such a relatable character on so many degrees. Like I feel like even if you're not like a medical person, like most males could probably relate to Dr. Rabinovich, where I'm like this guy, where like I go to work, I have a lot of shit on my plate, I have a lot of things to think about, but I still show up and people rely on me, and I have to do my job. And that's what Dr. Rabinovich is about. The greatest character. It's not even close. It's just the best.
Robbie, like, and what I love about him is he has the ability to, like, he keeps giving people rope, but like he gives them rope with the understanding that eventually the rope will run out, and if you hang yourself, that's on you. And so like this idea of like he's willing to forgive Santos doing things that she's not supposed to do because he's like, one, this is your first day, and two, you're supposed to be learning. But it's kind of like once I've taught you, or once you know what you're supposed to do, if you do it again, that's kind of on you. It's not really on me anymore. I taught you what the right thing was to do, or I taught you like at least what protocol is supposed to be, like what's the quote unquote chain of command, or like what the standard operating procedure is. Like he's done that. So it is interesting and cool to see, because like I said, when it comes to when it's him and Collins, he's the dad and Collins is the mom. When it's him and Abbott, he's the mom and Abbott's the dad. And then when it's him and Dana, it's kind of like they're just like both mom and dad at the same time, because Dana doesn't give a shit. She'll correct the doctors, and he's, as he points out to the doctors when they first are getting introduced to everybody, he's like, she's the actual boss. Like she knows everything. She's like, well, however much you think you know, she knows more. Like just go with that. But it's that level of respect. It's that level of respect that he has for coworkers. And it's the idea that even though these are students and things like that, he's not treating them like they're idiots. He's treating them as if they're peers. And what's awesome about that is because you can see that a lot of the reasoning behind why he is the way he is his own mentor. And for Robbie, his arc, if we were talking about Abbott's arc, or at least Abbott kind of framing the entire season with the question of why do we do what we do, for Robbie, the arc is he is coming in on the day anniversary, multiple year anniversary, but anniversary still,
Mhm.
of his mentor passing away during COVID. And this affects him throughout the entire season. With the way he talks to people, the way he is dealing with different patients that come in, how those patients, like the prognosis on those patients, how that affects him. It's all part of it. And for him to be able to try to push through that, you understand kind of like we don't need an episode as much as you're saying like a prequel to the Pit. Like one thing I don't think we would need in a prequel to the Pit is Robbie interacting with that mentor, because we see enough of how Robbie
Yeah.
treats people to know what that mentor was like, and to see the impact that that person had on Robbie's life, and to be able to figure out like what makes Robbie tick. And he is such an incredibly deep character, such a high level of development. And I remember when they were doing the announcements for the Emmys, for the nominations, I hadn't even seen some of the other shows. And I was just like, yeah, if Noah Wiley doesn't win, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here, because like his performance is just so good. Like, and I get it, like, because I know one of them was Diego Luna and Andor was ending and all that kind of stuff. And you know, like you kind of like push for a show that's ending that's been doing really well for a guy to, or a gal to get like
Well,
the award. But I was like,
Diego Luna was
like, I mean, let's
Diego Luna was great, but like the thing is that Dr. Roby, what made Noah Wiley so great in this role was just that you could relate to him, and I
yeah,
can't relate to what Diego Luna was doing in Andor. I can't.
yeah,
Dr. Roby was trying to piss for like 2 episodes, and they couldn't let him piss in peace. Like this dude couldn't even get a piss off. Like, and that happens sometimes, and you related to that pain. Like, there's a lot of things that he does, like just as an actor, where you're just like, oh my god, he's so, and it's all basic shit. Like you're just like, dude, what that? But he just sells it so well, and it's just like he's so good. But yeah, no, I was gonna be furious if he didn't win. I was gonna legit be furious if he did not win, and thankfully he did win.
So let me ask you, as we get into our top 5 moments of the show, or storylines or things like that, what outside of the ones that you listed, I had a couple of, and a couple of the ones that I came up with, I had a couple of honorable mentions. My my honorable one of my honorable mentions is Abbott donating the blood. And one of my other honorable mention is Mel with the little girl and the
Mm,
teddy bear.
that
Um,
scene.
that's I actually was just rewatching that earlier today, and like I started tearing up. I was like, "This is ridiculous." Like I already know what happens. I already know this, but it's getting me again. Did you, outside of the ones that you listed, did you have any kind of like an honorable mention or anything like that?
Uh, I think the only one was like the intro scene with Doctor Abbott and Doctor Roby, because it kind of sets the pace of the show. But that's not really like a moment. That's just like a scene that I like. And then, of course, I didn't add. I can't remember. Did I add Doctor Roby showing the guy the morgue, or the measles patient the
You did
morgue?
not. No.
Yeah, that would be an honorable mention for me. I love that scene. I think it's a great scene because
Yeah.
like he's all broken, but I think it kind of plays into one of the other moments that
Mhm.
I rated highly, because it is kind of part of that. So I guess that's why I didn't rank it. Other than that, no, like because like most of the beginning portion of the season is just like, I guess Louis asking for a sandwich. That was funny every time he did. like, hey Doc, where's my sandwich and stuff. And yeah, Dana getting punched. I don't think I put that in
No, no.
my top moments. And it's kind of like a big turning point for that character. So yeah, those are like honorable mentions, I guess, for me.
Gotcha. So then in that case, we are pretty much, so we the only difference that we have is 5, 4, 3, 2. trying to figure out what exactly the difference is, but I'll get there. But we have, starting us off. Um, I tried to find a better picture for this,
Mm.
but I couldn't.
Well, you can just
This was too
screenshot.
fucking
Well,
funny.
you couldn't screenshot like the episode. Like you couldn't just like screenshot
No,
the
no, no,
Wits.
because the thing is, the way it's set up is like Wit's talking to the rat, and like it's the cut that I wanted to try to get
Uh,
two separate things. But like when he's just like he's looking at it and he's like, "I'm gonna get you," like your time is coming up. So all right, let's set the stage. They have a homeless individual who shows up to the ER needing treatment, and he's got a lot of coats on, a lot of things, so they have to remove the clothing or cut through the clothing in order to make sure that he is like so they can get to his body. And this is relatively early on. This is also why it's
mhm.
funny. It's relatively early on in the day, and lo and behold, he has rats on him, which I mean, it's not a laughing matter in the sense of this is a terrible thing for somebody to have to deal with and things like that. However, it is funny from the perspective of the reaction of the doctors who are trying to deal with this,
Yeah.
and they're all like it is pure like all city folk kind of thing basically. And Whitaker, because he's from Nebraska, they just basically um like nominate him or baptize him as the rat catcher of the ER. And so, in addition to treating different people, Wit's got to find and get this rat and or the rats that escape from this person. And so, what I think is really funny is like this takes him multiple episodes. Like it's not a very easy thing to do because he's also got to treat these people. And on top of that, you've got one of the best lines in the whole season where somebody's just like, yeah, patients presenting rats, symptoms of rats. Like we've
Mhm.
confirmed the diagnosis is rats. And we have Gloria, who is the hospital administrator. She's kind of the business side of things. She finds out she's like, wait a minute, what? And she's always having this back and forth head butting
Mhm.
with
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 Robbie,
Robbie about like the business side of
budgeting.
it, patients satisfaction scores. The more patients we move through, the more money we make, and so on and so forth. And like she's like, wait a minute, what? There's a rat? So yeah, what were your thoughts on the Whitaker kills the rat storyline?
I liked it. It was like because there was a lot of tense storylines kind of going around that time. So it
Yeah,
was kind of nice that they had something that I would see out of like I don't know, like a comedy version, like a comedy show, like Synced in This. Like this felt like a Synced in This storyline that one of the characters had to kill a rat or something like that. So it was nice. It was harmless. I liked it because it gave Whitaker something like that he was like really good at, and it kind of added more that Whitaker is a country boy that he was able to catch this rat and kill it. Like with no problem whatsoever. And people were kind of impressed with it. They're like, "Oh, that's kind of badass! Like he killed a
yeah,
rat and stuff. Like that is pretty badass." I'm afraid of rats. Like a lot of people will think, "Oh, Chase will do." I see these creatures that I see on the screen. I'm like, get them the fuck away from me. I am not dealing with that. If you think that I'm gonna catch a mice or a rat, you have another thing coming, buddy.
Well, let's turn to 4A. So this is what you have listed as your fourth favorite moment or storyline of the season. Um, and I have this. Do I not have this?
Wow.
Oh, I think that's how it happened. But I agree with you that this. Okay, so then in that case, this is one of my honorable mentions. But this is Robbie confronts Langdon.
Yeah.
Now, throughout the course of the season, just to set the stage for this, uh, Santos has been kind of picking up that something's off with Langdon. But more than that, she's picking up that there's something off with different medications that Langdon is prescribing
Yep.
and the levels of how these things should work. So, for example, she gives Louis a shot of a particular medication that the CC amount or the ML amount should be the proper dosage, but it's not. and she's trying to figure out why, and she realizes that it hasn't really been tampered with, but it kind of has been tampered with. And so on top of that, she's trying to figure out like what's going on with these opiates, with these drugs, these heavy uh drugs. They're very powerful, very addictive as well, and how, like, what's going on with it. And eventually she kind of pieces together that Langdon is either stealing, using something to that effect with the medication. And she doesn't know exactly what to do because, one, he is her superior.
Hmm.
He's not the superior, that's Robbie, but like he is a superior. But on top of that, it's her first day. Does she want to be creating these kind of waves? And this is what I said. There's a scene that we're going to talk about when later, when we were discussing Trinity Santos. She does eventually confide in Robbie. Robbie goes and does the due diligence. He trusts but verifies, which is a very important thing, and realizes that Langdon is stealing medication and he is using the medication himself. He basically is self-medicating. And so, Chase, you tell us about the actual scene and the moment when Robbie confronts Langdon.
Yeah, man. So Dr. Langdon, he just thinks it's going to be a nice, chill conversation with Dr. Robbie at the locker room, and then Dr. Robbie pulls out his locker, and bunch of medications come out of there, and it turns out, and then Langdon's like, "Oh, what? That's not mine. What's going on? No, it's not me at all." And Dr. Robbie is just pissed. Like he doesn't raise his voice, doesn't get back. He's just like, "You have a chance, get your treatment, get out." Get out right now. And Dr. Langdon, Dr. Robbie's like a guy like there been said many times throughout the show. Oh, Langdon could have left to any hospital, but he likes Dr. Robbie so much, and
Oh, yeah.
what doctor he wants to learn from Dr. Robbie. And I guess like Langdon, he's trying to get like into a program or something. I totally forgot that plot point where like Langdon's trying to get into like
Yeah,
some teaching program or something, and like Dr. Robbie would give him the thing and stuff, but like pretty much like Langdon is trying, like, he doesn't have any signs that he's an addict, but we know like there's some addict tendencies to him. Like there's something wrong with him, and Dr. Roby, confronts him, and he's already had like a pretty rough day and stuff, and like the one guy that he considered like a best friend here
right.
disappoints him and lets him down. It's just it's just like it's just such a heartbreaking moment for him, and it shows like what a leader Dr. Roby is, where he just doesn't really like yell or scream. He's just like a discipline, like he's quietly upset, and like Dr. Langdon is just trying his best to like get out of this, like caught red-handed, making every excuse in the world, like most people do. Heck, I've done that before when I've gotten caught red-handed for bullshit that I haven't done, and that
Sure.
I've done and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Like we all have done this. So like you felt it with both characters. It was just such a tense. It was such a tense scene, and it just was like it was like the calm before the storm. Like this was like the winds were picking up before the hurricane of Pitt Fest happens into the hospital and stuff. So yeah, just absolutely one such good TV, such good stuff.
Yeah.
Noah Wiley's character, Dr. Carter, if you guys watch ER, also had a drug addiction after one of his attending patients gets stabbed and killed by like a patient that went psycho. He got high off the medication that they were giving him, and they're like, "Take off the watch." I ain't taking off the watch, and then he wouldn't do it, and he was just like, it was just all, and then he breaks down crying, and then he somehow gets on a plane, and he's back. He's allowed to go back to work and stuff. I don't know how that worked out in ER, but it did. Uh, but yeah, Dr. Lanigan confronted one of the toughest scenes in the pit. Like it just sucks for Dr. Roby, because it's like this is a guy that he looks at as a best friend, and it's just like, damn, like.
And you have to imagine that when Pitfest first starts and he has sent Langdon home, that in the back of his mind, he's like, this would be so much easier if I just had Langdon here. And Langdon does show back up, like, because Langdon hears about what's happening and he just is like, you need help. You need, and Robbie confronts him at one point and says, like, what are you still doing here? Like, I told you to leave. And Langdon's like, you need help. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just need help. And Robbie, like, you can tell the look on Robbie's face. It's like, yeah, I do need help, but I don't need this version of you. I need the version of you that I know is in there, that I thought was in there up until
Yeah.
a couple hours ago. Like, that's the version I want of Langdon. And he's like, you can tell he knows this would be so much better, or at least a little bit easier to get through if he had who he thought Langdon was. And
Yeah.
it's a really tough line for Robbie to go through, because Langdon eventually is going to plead with Robbie to be like, listen, like, don't report this. Don't report. Like, let's just not report this. Like, we can figure something out. And Robbie's like, like, we gotta do what we gotta do here. And there's certain things that have to happen. Like, it's not just about
Yeah.
you. It's about everybody that you treat, and so on and so forth. So, like, it's a really powerful arc. It's a really powerful storyline, and it really does show that as much as Robbie does have that mentor relationship, he also, and like that sort of big brother relationship that he has with Langdon, it also is that mentor relationship, that, like, kind of, I am still like your father's figure, so to speak, and I'm telling you, like, this behavior has got to change. But everything else that we're going to talk about, with the exception of one arc or one storyline, deals with Pitfest. So, Pitfest is basically a festival, like a music festival. Like, here we'd have Lollapalooza. LA, I'm sure, you guys have different musical festivals.
We have Coachella, but that's
Yeah,
not in LA. That's like far away from Cal. That's like in the middle of the desert.
yeah, but like, Pitt has Pitfest, which is similar in concept to Lollapalooza, which here is downtown in Grant Park and Millennium Park. They have an active shooter that hits a lot of people. They don't really establish how many people were involved or how many shooters were involved, but like, in order to, I mean, I was in the army. Like, in order to pull this off, like, you would have needed a lot of rounds, a lot of firearms, possibly a lot of people. But part of our storyline here is that earlier in the season, you had a woman who was concerned about her son, and her son kind of getting angrier at women, lashing out at women, and because his father's gone, and he makes a list of girls at his school that he would be willing to hurt, and he's in high school. So she finds this list, and she doesn't know exactly what she should do. She doesn't want to go to the police, but she figures maybe if he could just talk to somebody. So what she does is she basically makes herself sick, and in order to get into the emergency room. And then once she's there, she basically lets slide to Robbie that, this is the situation. So Robbie is torn between what to do. And I will say that this is kind of one thing that I think the show does very well, is that when people are built up, they humble them. They do a good job of humbling them and reminding them that you don't have all the answers. You don't know everything. And Robbie it's interesting because two people both are built up and humbled at the same time in this storyline. And it's Robbie and Dr. McKay. So he doesn't really want to report this to the police. He just wants somebody to be able to talk to this kid and figure out how to do that. But the kid's resistant, right? Because they're like, hey, do you want to have a conversation? And the kid's like, no, because you're supposed to be treating my mom. I'm not here for any treatment. McKay, on the other hand, she has experienced hate towards women. She's experienced things like this in her life. And so she wants to report this to the police. And she keeps butting heads with Robbie about what to do about this situation. Now, legally speaking, there is sort of a duty to report, like, so to speak, and so to speak, like they have different responsibilities that if they come across. But the kind of the nugget there is that it is a little bit more if you are treating that person, and they're not technically treating this guy. They can't get him to, like, basically sit down for a test or anything like that, which would then mean that they're treating him. When Robbie finally does, like, really try to talk to this kid, the kid basically runs out of the ER, and we kind of lose track of him for a large parts of the season. Meanwhile, Robbie, his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife's, or I think it's ex-girlfriend, that individual's son, who is in essence Robbie's kind of like de facto son, he has tickets to Pit Fest that Robbie had, and Robbie gives him the tickets so that the son and the girlfriend can go. So the son and the son's girlfriend can go to the festival.
Yeah.
So when this shooting happens and they find out, there's a lot that's weighing on Robbie's mind because one, it's the idea of, did I cause this by allowing that kid to leave? Was McKay right? And then also, if my ex's son, who I view as my son, gets killed or hurt, isn't that my fault?
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, McKay feels vindicated because she's like, it was that idiot that was making this list, and we do find out that it wasn't that guy. So that's why I said, like, Robbie thought he was right, the show humbled him. McKay thought she was right, the show humbled her. And it's the idea of, like, how do you walk this fine line? But the real craziness that happens is once all of these shooting victims start showing up in the pit, and Abbott shows up early to say, "Hey, you need the help, buddy." And Abbott has one of the best lines where he's just like, "What we're going to be doing is no frills combat zone medicine. You
Mm-hmm.
have to treat and move on, and treat and move on, because we have no idea how severe every person is going to be. We have no idea how severe someone can get, but most importantly, we have no idea when the next person is going to show up, because there are people coming in ambulances, by their own vehicles, somebody else driving them constantly, and we have to be able to treat these people." And because of that, the ER gets super packed very quickly. And there's not enough time, because remember, we talked about this earlier, that the beginning of this season was everybody's first day, and Robbie's establishing the protocol. You come and bring the attendant, you present the case to the attending comes with you and says, "Okay, think of it this way, think of it that way, what do we do?" And then you get their approval and they sign off on whatever procedure you're thinking, or they tell you to do something different. We have a doctor, Trinity Santos, who wants to keep pushing for, there's this idea that she's pushing for cool procedures or things that are fun to do. And so she has a patient who really needs help. And she's having a tough time getting the attendings to pay attention to her, because it's a little bit more complicated than what she should be doing. However, because she is the kind of person who previously we've been like, okay, she just kind of wants to do cool shit to say that she did cool shit. What she is advocating for, it is like, is this really necessary? So the multiple attendings are like, "Hey, wait for us, wait for us, wait for us." And she decides that she can't really wait for them. And so what she's going to do is she is going to figure out on her own how to solve this problem. And it is, I'm trying to see, where did I put this screenshot? Good Lord. But it's an incredible moment, but it's Santos performs the Raboa. I don't know where exactly this damn photo went to, but let me. What were your thoughts on the Raboa procedure as I try to find my picture
Well,
for it?
first of all, the woman got the wrong armband. They didn't put her in the right. They didn't
Yeah,
put her in the right section. So, Trinity Santos had every right to try to do this crazy procedure. Everyone else around her were like, "No, no, no," and then she's like, "We got to do this, otherwise this woman's going to die." And she pretty much was telling Whitaker, "Do you want that on your hands?" And Whitaker was just like deer in the headlights, looked like, "No, I want her to live and stuff. I want Carla to live." So she had to do it. And it was like one of those things where she had to perform it. And yeah, the attendees were mad at her, but Dr. Abbott gives her props at the end, like, "Oh, pretty sick. You pulled that off and stuff and whatnot." But they
yeah,
were they were dealing with a lot of other stuff, and Robbie was down at this time. He was kind of having his episode. So it was just like she had to do what she had to do. It was a really badass moment. It was a really strong payoff for, Trinity Santos's character, who really wanted to do all these other cool, crazy things throughout the whole season. She finally gets it in one of the more high pressured moments and succeeds, and saves this woman's life that they miscounted. They're like, "Oh no, she's fine. Put her a yellow wristband on her and stuff. She can chill out with all the other yellows in the world and stuff." And it's like, No, like he was actually more of a red or a pink, and you guys decided to put her into yellow because you guys just said whatever. So yeah, no, it was a strong scene. Good character, good, strong closing arc for Trinity Santos as a doctor. Where it's just like, oh, okay, like she may be abrasive. You may not like her character. Her arcs may be taking way too long to conclude, but at least she has a strong character moment, and it's a crucial moment of the show.
The only thing I didn't like about this was less about Santos and more about Abbott. Actually, like I don't think Abbott should have praised her. Like because I think Santos needed that moment to be like, yes, I saved a life, but like I still have to remember I'm supposed to be following different protocols because like it just is one of those things where it's like it reinforces to her that yeah, I'm good. Like I know what I'm doing in this, that, and the third. And it's like you do, but you also need to remember to stay humble. And so it's like I get what Abbott was going for, the idea of somebody did something absolutely phenomenal and amazing, and they deserve props. But it's like also how you went about it.
Yeah.
But like we said, no frills, combat zone medicine. And there was a character who, throughout the course of this season, was dealing with a little something. So then this is my four. That's my number four, and it's your 3A. It's your third. Your third. So there was a character who was dealing with a lot of shit, and her past came back to sort of bite her in the ass when her husband or ex-husband, the son, there's some issues about what's going on and who's taking care of him and where he's supposed to be and this, that, and the third. And we find out that Dr. McKay has a ankle monitor. Now, why does she have an ankle monitor? You might ask. It's because she got into some kind of altercation with her ex-husband's girlfriend, and so because of that, she has to wear an ankle monitor, which sucks. But this ankle monitor, because and I think they did a really good job of setup and payoff, where the setup is earlier in the season, where she is forced to keep calling in because the ankle monitor thinks she has strayed farther than the radius or the diameter that she's allowed to go, and so it starts beeping, and she's got to call in to be like, "Hey, I am at work. Like, I understand whatever you set the radius of, but like, I need to be able to step like 2 feet to the left. I can't have this thing going off." And I think what was cool about it was like the setup also involved Javati, who is like a 20-year-old prodigy, basically. The setup where Javati's like she's getting a good dosage of quote unquote the real world, where she has lived a very sheltered life, and so now she's got a great friend in McKay, but like she's like, what the hell's going on with this lady? Like something seems weird. And then Javati's immediate thing is like, is she a criminal? Like why does she have an ankle monitor? How can she be a doctor? So this leads us to Pitfest, where, like we said, no frills, combat zone medicine. And McKay has to be able to move around with impunity. She cannot like deal with this ankle monitor issue, but it keeps beeping. So eventually, McKay decides to break the ankle monitor by drilling into it with a surgical drill. And it's hilarious for a number of reasons because there's so many people. You can see like people in the background in this photo. That's how backed up they are. Like they have no rooms, no rooms in the inn. Every place is the manger basically. But McKay is just like standing up in front of everybody, just drilling into this thing to break it. And what I think is hilarious in this whole situation is they're treating cops, right, who were shot at Pitfest as first responders. Meanwhile, there are other cops who you would think would be involved in some sort of like takedown of the Pitfest shooter, like doing some kind of dragnet shit where they're like trying to make like a containment field or something like that. No, they happen to have enough cops that cops show up to ask her why she broke her ankle monitor. And McKay's just like, do you not see what the hell is going on around here? Right. And the cops are like, right. But did you break your ankle monitor? And McKay's like, yes, I broke my ankle monitor. And they're like, all right, cool. Hey, by letter of the law, you are now under arrest. And they're going to arrest her. Dana and Abbott are like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Like, first off, we need this person as like a general, like to treat people, but two, what the hell are you doing? Like, look around, read the room. And luckily, OTC shows up and is like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I understand we're having a bit of a problem here. Have you considered we are treating your cop buddies? And so he brings like a higher ranking police officer to have a conversation with the cops attempting to arrest McKay. And it's really funny because it's like he goes to McKay like, do you promise to take care of this in the morning? And she's like, yeah, it's gonna be the first thing I do. And he's like, all right, cool, take the cuffs off of her.
Mm-hmm.
But what were your thoughts on McKay breaking the ankle monitor?
No, it was a very strong scene, especially because like the like you said with Dr. Jihad, like she was just like kind of like weirded out. We didn't really know what she did to deserve it, but she
Yeah,
doesn't seem like a bad person. Like she doesn't seem like she would do anything. And of course, it's like ex-husband issues and stuff. And I'm sure for patients, it was probably weird seeing your doctor with the ankle monitor, but she takes it off like. This was definitely very TV show heavy because in real life they don't care that you're treating the patients; they're going to arrest you regardless because you broke an
yeah,
ankle monitor. So very TV show heavy, which I liked. Like Pitt's not too realistic. Like it's realistic to a sense, but not too realistic. Still a TV show at the end of the day and stuff. But yeah, no, I like this scene. It just showed like very very toughness, very very strength of like just mental strength of just like fuck it. She's putting a lot on the line by doing this, and she doesn't have to like she has other things that she has to worry about. This is a lot of things, and she's not getting that much credit for what she's doing. As like she's saving a bunch of lives right now. There's a mass shooting that just happened, and she's over here trying to attend to all these people. This team won't shut up, and so she's gonna break it. And at the end of the day, this is one day for her where she's dealing with hell. This could be a lifetime of hell for her if things didn't bounce in her court.
yeah,
Breaking the ankle monitor, that's a no. You can't do that.
yeah. It is a crazy situation for her to be in, and it's like, wow, like what are you supposed to do? Like how when you got to make the choice of being like, am I going to do my job to the best of my ability, or am I going to let something like this get in the way? And it's not in the sense of like she's not doing this for personal gain. She's not breaking this ankle monitor for personal gain. She's breaking it to help other people, and that's. It's one of the it's one of the honorable things to do. It's one of the sort of like the not fall on your sword sort of thing, but like the idea of being willing to jump on the grenade for other people. Like to Chase's point, she could go through a lot of problems, deal with a lot of problems because of what she's going to be dealing with as a potential fallout of breaking her ankle monitor when she's not supposed to. So this was my number 3 moment or storyline from Pitt season 1. This was Chase's number 2, which means somewhere along the way in either 1 or 2 we disagree or we defer, and it's the number 2 moment. And so we'll go through what my number 2 moment is. And for me, it was this one right here. This is my number 2. Throughout the course of the season, we dealt with a number of different individuals who were passing away. There was a beautiful moment where somebody passed away, and Robbie was saying, we have like a debrief, or at least we try to remember their lives. Whit's phone, funnily, goes off during that moment of somber reflection. And Wit, of course, is like, oh God, what did I do? Like, I'm, awkward. But there's a really poignant storyline where a brother and sister are faced with the decision of what to do regarding their father, whose body is failing him. And the problem is that he can, technically speaking, get better.
Yeah.
The odds are very, very low. And part of that involves putting him on life support, but the life support, like the process, one is painful. Even though he's going to be sedated, like it will be painful. And two, once he's on life support, it kind of the odds are very high he's going to be on life support forever. And the daughter wants to keep him on life support. The
Yeah.
son kind of really does take to heart Robbie's words of, you're not going to be able to save this person. And he's willing to take the father off of life support. The daughter doesn't want to. And the daughter, like, and it is, I think what was beautiful about it was that you can understand different children's interactions with their parents,
Hmm.
right? Like, I have an older brother. My older brother's relationship with my parents and my relationship with my parents, two very different things, despite the fact that there's only 4 years between us. And for her, for the sister, she did not have the best relationship with the father. She struggled to do a lot of the same things that he wanted to do, like go fishing and things like that. And the brother, boys with the father kind of thing, like he was able to get along very well. And the father was very instrumental in, I think they were saying, was it the Reading Rainbow, or was it some educational program?
Yeah, he was like the
Yeah,
Mr. Rogers. He did
Mr.
some
Yeah, I think it was
he
Mr.
did he
Rogers.
did the art for Mr.
Yeah,
Rogers or
yeah.
something like
And
that. Yeah.
so like so she also felt this thing of like other people, other children were spending time with my dad, but I wasn't. And that's really like it's going to be like it's tough. It's tough to go through that. And so she's really adamant, like, you don't want to. Like, at one point, she's saying, like, you had time with him. I didn't. So I'm sorry if you're comfortable with taking him off of life support. I'm just not ready to give up on him yet. And Robbie, brings them into this room. This is where the scene happens. And he has the conversation with them while their father's there. Like, the idea of you're really not going to be able to, like, it really isn't, like, just kind of reiterating this thing. And he teaches them this Hawaiian practice of, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of it, but it's Honoponopo, or Ho'oponopono. There it is. And it's this concept that it's a powerful four-phrase meditation designed to help people find peace, closure, and reconciliation with a dying loved one. And even though the father can't hear it, it's kind of more for you than really it is for them. But it's just four phrases, and the first is, I love you, thank you, I forgive you, and please forgive me. And these two individuals are able to find some level of closure with their father and what their father meant to them and meant in their lives. And to me, this scene is probably, or this storyline is probably like
Hmm.
the second best thing that happens in the show.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's because, like, for me personally, like, my parents had children when they were older. Like, my dad was 40 when my brother was born, and he was 44 when I was born. So, like, I'm 36 and my brother's 40, but like my dad's in his 80s and my mom's in her late 70s. So like my mom's in her mid 70s. So like she also, like, I was preemie. I was in like the iron lung thing. Like I was preemie by a while there. I was very underweight because my mom was having me in her late 30s. So, I really understand the idea of the idea that, like, your parents' lives could be closer to the end than it is the beginning. Like, and it's really is incredible to see how all three of these actors handled this moment. But what I think is fascinating about it is how this leads into our number one.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Robbie's full-fledged breakdown happens during Pitfest, but this really is the setup to me, because this is the room that his mentor died
Hmm.
in. And in the case of the mentor, it was Robbie's decision to take that person off of life support,
Yep.
off of the ventilator, as that person was dying from COVID. And Similarly, it is these two individuals, and he is telling, like, he is making the rational argument to them about why it makes sense to take this person off of the ventilator, off of the life support, but he can understand how difficult of a decision this is.
Yeah, and especially because Robbie, before he even tells him, it's like kind of a dick in this moment a little bit. That's why I didn't rank it, was because Gloria was on his ass. Hey, get these patients out. You guys get more
Yeah.
rooms and stuff. And so he's really kind of doing this because he's just following what his boss is telling him. Like, he needs more rooms, and if you put this dude on life support, fortunately, you're going to take up a room.
Yeah.
And that's something that, Robbie, he's kind of on, like, he does it in a great sentimental way. And it is like a full circle moment to what is our number one. But it's like, he's kind of just doing his job of what Gloria wants from him. Like that's why Robbie's so like, get him in, get him out, get him in, get him out, because Gloria's like, hey, we got to get these people out of here. You want that waiting room gone? Treat them faster or something like that. And Robbie's just like, fuck, this person's gonna take up a room. That's why I couldn't rank it high, because Robbie's intentions are good. Like, Robbie, he's not a dick about it and stuff, but really, to be honest, the main reason he doesn't want them to put him on life support is the underlying tone's like, fuck, this person's gonna take up a room. There are some scenes where they're like,
the combination. It is that, but it's also he knows, like, putting this person on life support is not going to solve the problem. Like, you are delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, you're especially for this, like, it was just delaying the inevitable for that point. Like, that was such a relief in hour 4 when they finally like, Dr. Rabinovich, we want to take him off life support. You're like, thank God. Like, let's go. Yeah. And then Gloria was happy they got an extra room.
But this leads us into our number one moment in the very same room, which turns into, from these individuals being here, it turns into the de facto morgue, where Dr. Robbie finally has his mental health breakdown. And it has been building. We've been kind of leading towards this for the entire season. He cannot deal anymore with everything of the day. And for sure, the day already was stressful. The idea of getting patients in, getting patients out. It's the anniversary of the mentor passing. There's so many complications. But then Pitt Fest happens. And you can see the blood covering everything, covering the scrubs, or the surgical gowns. And he finally snaps, because he knows he can't save his son's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
His son gets injured. The girlfriend gets shot, and he cannot save her.
Does everything he can, though.
Does everything he can, and the son is just like,
even Dr. Abbott's like, fuck.
Yeah,
he's taking all this blood, whatever.
The son is like, I get it. I get the idea, the pain that this kid's going through, and the way he lashes out, and he's just like, you can save all these fucking people, but you can't save my girlfriend. And Robbie's just like, he's just like, I did everything. I did everything. He's saying it over again. It's like, I did everything. And then finally he's just like, you got to leave. You got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get out. And he gets the son out of the room. And then he just, the dams finally break. Though, like, he can only be strong for so long. And for Robbie, it was 15 hours or so. and all of the shit that was going on. And I think it's really beautiful that they were able to show this so well, but I also think it's beautiful that it's Whitaker that comes and sits with him. And you really understand that Whitaker is like the spiritual successor. Because if we think of it like in the universe, we may never see season 8 or 9 or 10 where Whitaker
we don't know the show.
We may never see Whitaker be the attending, but we know whenever the show ends that sometime in the future, in that world, in that universe, Whitaker became the attending. Whitaker became the Robbie, because it's scenes like this. It seems like this that really reinforce that who Robbie is, who Whitaker is, and it's a beautiful thing. But how did you feel about Dr. Robbie's mental breakdown?
It was kind of like you knew something was going to happen where it was just going to snap for him. He was just like I said earlier, he couldn't even take a piss in peace. Like the guy was trying to pee for like 2 hours, and then people were going to leave him alone for him to finally empty the tank, and then he finally does, and he feels a lot better. But it's just things are just not going well for Dr. Rabinovich. That it's the anniversary of his mentor's death. One of his best friends turns out to be a piece of shit stealing medicine. His other best friend gets punched in the face and she won't leave. The woman that he loves is pretty much like, you know, down in the dumps herself, and he sends her home.
Yeah,
Then he thinks, his actual his kind of son or whatever, the kid that looks at him like as a father figure to this kid, he lets him down by not saving the girl. So he just feels like everything's just going wrong for him, man, and stuff. And then like for Whitaker, like the breakdown was great, great acting, felt so realistic. If anyone's ever had a mental breakdown, that's how it is, bro. Like you just go black, you don't know what's going on. You're trying to connect with your body again, but you can't. It's just that's just what a mental breakdown is. I'm someone who's had one before, and that's just how it is. Sometimes, like you feel like you're in control, but you're just not. Like you just something's got to give. And he's a doctor, so like when I had mine, I had barely any sleep. I was like, it was like rough on my body. I was just trying to do too much and everything. This guy's a doctor. His sleep is probably like rougher than anyone else's sleep and stuff. And so, he probably didn't even get good sleep before this shift, probably thinking about his mentor and then everything that he went through, like what John talked about, taking someone off life support, and that's what he had to do 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever the timeline is for this when this show takes place, of like with his mentor and stuff. But then like even then, like even after the mental breakdown, Whitaker doesn't look at Robbie as some weak guy because of it. He still
yeah,
he still views him as Dr. Robbie. Like, hey, we all have like tough experiences in life, but the end of the day, you're still Dr. Robbie to me and stuff. And it was like such a good uplifting for him. But yeah, once he had that mental breakdown, I was like, no, Wiley better win this. If he don't win no award after this, I'll be pissed, bro. I don't give a fuck uh what the guy from Landman is doing or what freaking Andor actor is doing. Like, give me a scene like this, man. Come on now.
yeah. It is so it's oh, man, it is crazy. Like how they were able to pull this off, and the choices that Noah Wiley made as an actor to do. Like a lot of times you hear like people say things like that, and like I'm kind of like, why are they being pretentious? But like in this situation, I do kind of understand like what they mean, and it's just like to be able to accurately represent what so many people would be feeling in that moment, and a lot of other people would have broken down
Earlier.
earlier, like way earlier. And this character held on like that much longer. It's it's so it's so incredible to see. And I think it really, the one thing that I love about it too is it humanizes him so well, because for everybody else, he is this kind of mythological titan of a figure, and we're able to see that he is that, but he's so much more. And I think that's the reason why I particularly like that it's Wit that finds him, because Wit can both view him still as that mythological figure, but understand that he's human and flawed. And so, because of that, Wit can understand that it's all right for me to be human and be flawed. I can still be a good doctor despite the fact that I'm human, despite the fact that I will make mistakes. And for anybody that either has experienced, is experiencing, or will experience uh, terrible trauma like this and have a mental breakdown, it just is a reminder that you have the ability to pull yourself out of it. And maybe it may not be you by yourself, it may be you with the help of others, but there is always a way out, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes it requires greater strength than the strength that got you in the situation in the first place, right? Because like Robbie sort of fell into this place because he had been trying to be strong for so long, and pulling himself out of it required greater strength than he already had exhibited. But everybody has that strength within them. It's just whether you are able to find it and whether you're able to pull that out of you. And sometimes that will require other people to help you. But man, it was just an incredible scene, incredible moment, and it really was like kind of the capstone. I will like kind of sort of as an addendum to this is the speech that Robbie gives at the end of the season and at the end of like Pit Fest, where he's like saying, like we're always going to remember what happened here today, and we always, like he's like every single one of you went above and beyond your calling and what you were supposed to do. And he's like, I can't thank you enough. These people, all that you treated, some of them will be able to thank you, some of them won't be able to thank you, but for those that can, for those that aren't able to, I'm thanking you. And it really does like reinforce that he is the leader, he is the guy. And man, like what a beautiful season. What a beautiful
Yeah.
season of television. But what were your overall thoughts on the season, and kind of like, if you, I don't know, it's tough to say like rank it in comparison to other shows or anything like that, because it is its own thing. But like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about this how did you feel about this season? And then like the insanity of coming out of the gate this strong, like the idea of what they have to do in subsequent seasons just for people to say it's on par. Because there's going to be haters out there who are like,
Yeah.
it's not as good. Like, it's season two
You,
sucks compared to season one. It's like
they
season one is just, it's some of the best television that we're going to see in our lifetimes, possibly,
and
possibly.
it's a HBO show, so sometimes you don't know if a show will go past a first season. And I think that was kind of by design of what they did. They said, you know what? If there is only one season of the show, we're
Yeah,
gonna make it one hell of a rewatchable season. Like this show is a very much rewatchable show where, like, if you haven't watched it within like let's say it's been like 3 years since you watched season one, you can pick it back up and you will re-enjoy season one all over again. And it's 15 episodes. If you're a binge watcher, that's a whole day for you. If you decide to be lazy that day, that's a good 2 to 3 days and stuff if you need to catch up. But they really designed it as where it's just like, hey, look, there is open-endedness because this was just one day in these characters' lives. But if the show doesn't get picked up for season two, or if it doesn't continue after season two, guess what? It is what it is. Boom, case closed. Now I feel like, you know, that's why they designed it to be so strong. And I now feel like season two and now with season three going to be pretty much coming out. That's one of those where it's like, okay, now like we're going to get how a television show is structured, where maybe we will see more open-endedness, more like figuring out like, oh, what happened with these characters, or we'll get more of what a typical drama show is going to be like with with it in the writing. I know I don't think season two is ever going to be as strong as season one in terms, but I think the character work is still as strong as it was in season one. I don't think we're going to have as much of high stake moments
yeah,
like
yeah.
a mass shooting,
How
but
do you like? How do you, it's so tough
yeah.
to top that.
Yeah,
I think they shouldn't even try. Is what I'm saying. You know what
no,
I mean?
no, no. Just focus on what you're doing. I'm enjoying this season because of the characters right now.
Yeah,
I know it's not as intense as season one, especially with the last 4 episodes of season one, but I still think the characters are strong enough where you are. It's an enjoyable show. I think you. This is a show where you fall in love with the characters and you care about the characters more than what really is the action that you see on TV. That's where Grey's Anatomy dominated for so many years, where why it was so successful. You like the characters, and then they started just relying too much on the actual medical action and stuff like that. Like Good Doctor. Good Doctor's like the perfect show where it's like, okay, well, we need some bullshit to happen, and we got to remind everyone that Dr. Sean Murphy, even though he just did a leg transplant last episode, he's autistic and he can't do anything because he's autistic. Like they had to do that every episode. Like they have to just remind us that Dr. Murphy's autistic. Like, yes, we know he's autistic. Like we get it. Like, did you not forget in season one where he did this open heart surgery and he figured out how to save this patient's life? Oh no, but he can't put a cast on someone because they're autistic. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing in this city? I hate that show so much. Good Doctor.
I've
Do
never
not.
watched it. It's just like
It,
it doesn't appeal to me.
it was fine. The first season's good, and but then afterwards, it's just get like we like it's so they have this one moment like Dr. Murphy, like he was obsessed with this rabbit because he's autistic. I guess like
Hmm.
he's autistic, so he needed something to hold, and I guess his dad killed the rabbit or something like that and stuff. And then yeah, it's a but we were trying to figure out why he's obsessed with rabbits, and then that's the reason why he's obsessed with rabbits or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, I like it for the characters, but like I understand why they went so hard that they did. Because heck, you don't know in Hollywood, like you don't know if a show's gonna pick up, or you don't know if they're gonna continue on. Like, look at one of the best shows on HBO Max that you can watch, The Watchmen. That shit only has one season. Watchmen only has one fucking season. It's one of the best shows ever produced. I stand by that to this day. It's a top 5 television show with one season. It's a top 5. It's a top 10 TV show of all time. It only has one season, and we don't even get a second season, and it's fucking stupid. And so I understand why the Pit went hard this first season
Yeah,
because they needed to make sure eyeballs were still doing. They need to make sure, and when you look at the top 10 of HBO Max, it's always in the top 10. It's beating out other shows that people love from HBO and HBO Max. Like it's doing its thing, and it shows that people like the characters, and strong writing sometimes beats out all the nonsense that you will see on the television and stuff. Will we see something like Pit Fest? We don't know. Will we get to that point in season 2 or 3? Who knows? But
I'm,
I think the character work
I'm,
is good enough.
I'm anticipating that sometime in this second season, we will see somebody's hand blown off from fireworks because it's supposed the day is like it is happening on the day of July 4th. So probably towards the end of the shift because like right now we're still like kind of in the morning if I remember right. Yeah, like I think we're somewhere around like noonish in the day. So as we get a little bit as the sun starts to set, people start setting off the fireworks. Somebody's going to JPP themselves. And we'll get like that gnarly. I'm already not looking forward to seeing somebody's hand blown off from fireworks or fingers, missing and all that kind of thing. But how exactly they're going to top it, I don't know if they can. But like I said, and you're saying, I don't think they should. I think you just concentrate on like sort of what brought you to the dance, and you can kind of have that sort of season off, so to speak, and then do something down the road that will be similar to the Pit Fest. Because like obviously you're not going to do the retread of the active shooter, but do something like that brings up the stakes, and kind of go from there. But yeah, I mean, this was a phenomenal season of television, and like you said, if they hadn't been renewed, if they hadn't had anything further, it stood on the merits of what it was.
Oh yeah, dude. You'll have people like if this never got renewed for a second season, if someone's like, "Hey, what's a show I could watch?" Go watch The Pit, and then people
Yeah,
will be like, "Oh, The Pit?
yeah.
What the dude? How come there's not a second? We don't know. We don't know why it never got a second season, but it just didn't. Just one season.
Yeah, like what's it called? When Fox canceled Firefly, that Josh Whedon sci-fi show back in the day with Nathan Fillion.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal show. Only got one season. And there was no real it was doing fine ratings wise, but for some reason, I don't think like I get it was like a sci-fi show, so like maybe there was a little bit of
I
cost.
think I
Like
think that was one of the because there was like this weird trend. Because there originally was supposed to be a video game tied into that show,
I think so. Yeah.
and then the video game never came out, so the show was just the show. Because like
They made
that
a movie. They made a movie Serenity, which was kind of like a like sort of recapping but changing a couple things and sort of thing, but like they never got to like, go any further with it.
yeah, because like it was that show, and then there's I think Quantum Leap, like it was a CBS show or something like that that also had a video game. It was this weird thing that were like TV shows and video games were trying to like interact, and if you played the video game, it
Oh,
would add to
almost
the
human. Almost, I think it was almost human or Detroit, almost human, something like that. There
no,
was,
no, no. Detroit Almost Human is just a standalone PS5, PlayStation 4 game and stuff like that.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, no. It was like Quantum Leap, Quantum Shift, something like that. You Google Quantum, it'll pop up. It'll show like a crappy PS3 game that got like 3 out of 5 stars or something like that. No, Detroit Almost Human is a great video game and stuff. We didn't get video game reviews on the channel. Pitch that to SP3. Hey, Final Fantasy 7 remake,
Yeah,
rebirth. I'm your guy for that one. I
I
got
would
so
be,
much to say.
I would be terrible at video game reviews because like I don't.
I'd be the guy. I'd be
Well, I
talking.
play like the same video games, so it's like
What,
it's
what,
I just do.
Did you get WWE 2K26 already, John?
I will down the road. And now that they have expanded what they're doing in GM mode, that's the only reason why I have the games play GM mode.
No,
But
I like to play universe mode. My universe mode's pretty badass
yeah,
too.
I used to do universe mode, but then I just like the idea of setting the whole thing up. Just is like, oh god.
They're making it easier this year. That's what I've heard.
Hopefully,
So
hopefully.
yeah, no, that's what I've
But
heard.
yeah, it's
But
like that, like those that the Maddens of the world, Borderlands, and then Borderlands 4 made me really sad. But like those kind of the games, like because I'm more like the I want to I play solo games. I'm more interested in like
yeah.
either really good campaigns that take a really long time and have in-depth storyline, or like Madden's.
Well, John, there's a game called Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Play
I'm gonna
that.
tell you, here's a fun fact about me.
No, play it. I don't care if you don't like it. Play
No, no,
it.
no, no. Here's a fun fact about me. I have never played a Final Fantasy game.
Well, make sure Final Fantasy 7 Remake is your first one. You don't need to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all different characters. Play Remake, and then down the line we will do a remake review, and then we can play Rebirth, and then we'll make a Rebirth review, and then when Redemption, Revolution, whatever they're gonna name this one comes out, we can make a Revolution review or whatever it's called. I'm telling you, but definitely play Remake. Remake is fucking
Well,
Remake and Rebirth to if
yeah,
if I was on my deathbed,
I gotta change your name from Chase Oliver to Kenny Omega. The way
yeah,
you're
dude,
spelling for Final Fantasy.
I love Final Fantasy. It's great. Like if there was 3 games where like someone told me, Chase, you're gonna die, but we'll give you 3 video games to play for the rest of your lifetime. What are the 3 video games? It'd be Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. One of the two. You can give me either version. It doesn't matter. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag,
Okay.
and then finally Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Like those are the only 3 games I need to play for the rest of my life, and I will find a way to enjoy everything about them. Like it's Rebirth is great. They have a card game in Rebirth. It's fucking great. It's the greatest card game ever. It's like it's better than Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic.
He's like, there's a game within a game.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. There's a lot of games within the games in Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. It has one of the best soundtracks too. Yeah, it's great stuff.
Well, before we are doing working on video game reviews and things like that, maybe we will be doing those things. We encourage all of you to check out on this channel. Sid and I did a review of Scream 1. We have now done a review of Scream 2. And then coming soon, we have the fall off review. We did the first episode of like a music review podcast where Sid and I were talking about.
We can review the Final Fantasy 7 soundtrack too.
we were reviewing.
I'm gonna send you one of the songs, and you'll be like, "Yeah, I can see why you love this song, Chase." I'm gonna send you one of the songs.
And then, of course, you could also check out True Heel Heat Check number 23, covering some of the All-Star Game information. And Chase, tell the people where they can find you, my good sir.
Yeah, you can follow me on X at ChaseOliver68. Around the Point Network, when I can show up, I'll be on with Teal Stevens to talk about wrestling. Here on True Heel Sports Entertainment, talking about football, TV shows, and whenever I get asked to come on, I come on. And same with True Heat. Whenever I get asked to come on, I come on. So those are the platforms you can follow me. Actually, True Heat News. I'm going to Revolution on Sunday, March 15th, praying to God that I don't have to watch John Moxley wrestle Takeshita for 62 minutes. But
it's in LA, right?
Yeah, it's in LA. Yeah,
No.
I'm actually meeting a fellow chat member, Dion Jenkins. He's been in the AEW. He said he was in LA. I said, hey man, like this was back in October when we heard Revolution was going to LA. I was like, hey man, let's go to the show together. I just threw it out in the chat, and Dion said, yeah. And then I said, let's. And then we met up on Instagram. Well, not on Instagram. We started talking on Instagram.
Yeah.
We bought the tickets. So SP3 asked, like, hey, he said this in one of the reviews, I can't remember, but he said, hey, if you guys do go, if you guys can send videos for the Twitter, those videos do good for the Twitter. So I was like, that's fine, I'll have no problem doing that. So I'll be filming some of the little videos live from Revolution and stuff. Awesome. So yeah, so it should be fun. You'll hear my voice, and
reporting live on the scene.
I might do a vlog for Around the Point Network too.
Yeah.
Just depends if recording's hard and stuff, but just depends on how much I want to record and stuff. So like, just doing that. So
I mean,
Yeah.
we still got that video of you dancing in SoFi Stadium with the Chargers.
It's a great one. I was so fat then. I'm now skinny. Looking at that video, I'm like, damn, I was fat. But that was one of the most. You, you guys have never been. There's a different version of Chase. It's called live event Chase. If you ever go to a live event with me, just understand. You may think, wow, Chase is chill, calm, funny guy. I get to a live event and I become a different human being. Like it's just one of those things you can't you don't understand it until you're there. You just see me get walked in. And in wrestling, I get locked in. Like I believe it's real once I enter the building. Like you tell me it's fake, I become one of those fans. It's not fake, damn it! I get all pissed and stuff. I tell everyone I have to film, not because I have to film because otherwise I don't remember these moments. Because otherwise I'm like, oh, what the fuck was I doing there? Why was I going crazy? Like I'll watch back and I'll be like, why was I screaming like a little girl for Brock Lesnar's entrance? I've seen this entrance like 5 million times. I just black out in the moment. I'm not even drunk either. I just go and I'm just like locked into the event.
Listen,
Oh, like
that's got to be one of the best ways to experience these things.
oh yeah, dude. I went to a soccer game not knowing shit. And I was locked the fuck in. I felt like I knew everything about what did I see? Like Ecuador versus Brazil or something. No, Ecuador versus some bum team and stuff. I don't know who it was, but it was lit. It was lit. It was for Copa America. So I was like, oh cool. I went to a Copa America game. Check that off my list. So
And you guys can catch me as always here. So Chase and I going forward, we will be doing a episode by episode review of the Pitt season 2. And we've got the Underwear Olympics coming up soon for the combine, the NFL combine. I think that starts on the 26th.
and then don't forget the off season before the off season where teams agree to contracts, even though they're not supposed to agree to contracts until March 15th. But all of a sudden we learned that this player has agreed to sign with the team. How? I don't know. But it just happens.
Yeah, we'll be dealing
with the league started on March. No. Starts February.
Oh, speaking of which, I know we're not really discussing football, but like the Chiefs restructuring Mahomes.
Yeah, man. I'm doing everything I can, man, to help.
$43.5 million. My goodness.
Yeah, it's some weird. How does that work?
So like they take a whole bunch of the money and basically turn it into a signing bonus, like the base hit of the contract. But like what that means is that like so this year the cap hit was supposed to be 78. It dropped down to 30 something. Next year the cap hit was going to be 74. Now it's 85. I'm hoping that eventually they do something to the point that one of the cap hits, like the next year's cap hit, is over 100 million, just because it would just be funny for me to see. But anyway, so we'll be covering all that kind of fun stuff with football as we get further into.
You guys didn't even go into detail of what I did and how I opened up. Whatever, man. Just review your stupid show, guys. It's whatever. By the way, T-Mobile sponsors this episode. What's up?
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in, or as we should say, for clocking in with us.
Yeah, we're clocking out for today. We're clocking out, but we'll be clocked in next week.
We're gonna be back talking about everything from season 2, episode 1. But until next time, on behalf of
we're on episode 7 at this point.
I know, but we're gonna restart with episode 1.
Oh, so we're gonna go. Oh, okay, got you.
Go through. So we're gonna be like a little bit, well, about 6 weeks or so behind, and then maybe we'll do like a little something to catch up as we get closer to the finale. But
maybe we can review episode 2 and 3 together. I mean, what really happens in both those episodes? We can clump those two up together. Come on now.
But for myself, for Chase, for
Mahomes.
And Emmy Award-winning Dr. Michael Rabinovich.
But he's ever won an MVP or Super Bowl? I don't think so, man.
We want to thank you all for tuning in.
Whatever.
Until next time.